Hello, people are coming, so we do a little dance in the meantime. It's like Trump style. Hello, welcome everyone to another community call. I know that you just come to see me dance. That's fine, that's perfectly fine. We are in the economy of attention. Attention is all you need, so all good. How are you, Jean?
Doing great. As the DJ of the call.
Yeah, perfect. We can. I guess in the next conference we can just do our version of Rave. Like I don't know what would we call it, the Kleros Rave. I don't know. Kleros Rave.
No. Yeah, I don't know. Disco, Kleros Disco.
we will brainstorm a bit with Claude for next week, and maybe we can find a way. Yeah, I'm not too much of like a disco, like a techno dance, but I can adapt to whatever the audience wants, and I'm fine. As I say, if you want me to play football, I can do football. If you want me to dance, I will dance. This is what it takes to be CEO in these days. Social media era. You need to do whatever brings attention. So, no problem.
Well, Clement is a great dancer too, right? So he can collaborate.
Actually, Clement took dancing lessons, and we have a team member who actually is a very good salsa dancer. But I mean, I'm not sure I should mention who it is because of privacy reasons. But we do have one who I would not say he's a professional, but he's like very much into like going to dancing parties, and he's like a very good salsa dancer. Okay, so what do we have for today? We have like many different things going on. First thing, you can mention something about the clear signing, Jean. Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, I think this was pretty interesting. I'll bring Fortunato here also to comment on this. But
are you a good dancer, Fortunato?
No.
You will learn. Marcos and Fortunato need to dance the next call.
Okay.
So yeah, this was an initiative that the Ethereum Foundation released this week. It actually started a couple of months ago, I think, but basically currently the transactions on most wallets and even hardware wallets, you are shown like a hex string, and you don't know exactly what you're signing. And well, this is something that we have been working on for some time, is to create some information to show to people. So we already have the scout lists, but what they are doing now is to create a standard that allows to transform the hex string into something that is human readable. So instead of just showing that, you can show, for example, this is a swap. Then you are swapping this amount of tokens for that amount of tokens, or for transactions that are more complicated. They actually show other information that are more understandable. So yeah, maybe Fortunato, you can have something more to add about this.
Just let me comment. Just let me comment. Add something to put a bit more like context. I mean, every time I have to sign something. I mean, I have like a little heart attack, because you have to sign. Some of these things are multi-sig things, and what is this thing you're signing exactly? So you always have like a bit of something inside of me dies every time I need to like sign one of those transactions. I have no idea what's going on. I mean, I do check everything because I am very, paranoid these things. But if this could be made easier for us boomers, it would be. I mean, we would have like a way better, way less stress, let's say.
Yeah, I completely agree. And continuing to what Jean was saying, yes, this protocol is meant to transform this X into data. And what we're doing with Scout is like complementary. It's like a part of this, because this translation, which will be done through some JSON scripts, it decodes the X not just in our case, we would provide the name, but the decoding would include also the information about the payload, about the amount, about the smart contract, like technical aspects. So yeah, this is extremely cool because to make it, I think, easier is just like the Ethereum Foundation. I feel it's like putting a lot of pieces of the puzzle together. You have the auditing of the contract, you have the tagging of the contract, which is what we are doing, and combining them together in this standard to make these transaction easier to understand. And I think this is really cool because this is a bit of a personal take. I feel that, as Federico was saying, even for us that we deal with, with Web3 every day, there's always a bit of, like tension, especially if, the transaction is not too big, but let's say maybe a few $1,000. We always think twice, and having more confirmation that what you are about to sign, to execute is what you are thinking is way better. And this is good for us, but I think this is also great the path is taking for adoption, because if we are going through a path that we are making things easier, maybe even beginners or onboarding new users who are not familiar with Web3, it may be way easier. And I really like this turn that Ethereum Foundation is taking already last year, even with the backtrack dates, so with like sponsored transaction and signing and executing all in one batch is great. I think it's really great.
Yeah.
So this is going to one thing. When is this going to start being operational? Is this an idea, or is this something is starting working now? What's the roadmap for this?
The standard that just Jean mentioned is live since yesterday.
So if I sign today, it's already working?
No, because it's something we are familiar with, is based on contributions. So like there will be like players adding more information to these registries that they are forming. And I would say it's quite well designed, because there will be also something similar to Curate. There will be players submitting their JSON and auditors making sure what has been submitted is valid, and they will sign attestation with another ERC, I think 8,000. I don't remember the exact number, but there is also an attestation for signing that the information is correct, where there will be auditors signing for this information that they pledge is correct.
I think they mentioned something like in the next few months they expect it to be like widely available. And I think one of the most interesting things is that, for example, we have been pushing for this. So we have the domain pair list created with the help of Ledger for Ledger Live. But this initiative, what they managed to do is that to get like all the hardware wallet, biggest hardware wallet providers to participate, also some security firms. So there's like at least 6 or 8 companies that are already contributing and committed to use the standard. So it's great that it will be probably when the first one get it implemented, next ones will probably hurry up to do the same thing. So that's good.
Like what does this look like in the long run? I mean, maybe I'm sent to sign some transaction, and then I have my agent going there and checking if this is a correct transaction, if it's malicious or not. It checks the code and tells me, yeah, Federico, good to go. And what, they put my fingerprint into like a fingerprint scanner, or God forbid, retina scanner. And then that is how transactions are going to be signed, and one can be sure that it's exactly the right thing. This is what it looks like in the long run.
Yes, exactly. Like when you see for example, I would say like a basic transaction like the swap. You on one side you have the user interface, on the other side you have your wallet, and your wallet from the this hash will be able to say, yes, this hash is doing exactly what you are seeing into the interface. So the information will not come from from the provider, but will come from the transaction itself. So you don't have to just trust the provider, but it comes from decoding the transaction itself.
And I guess, also my agent is going to check if the address where the assets are going to be sent is on Kleros verified Scout list. So and if it says, look, this address is not on this list, are you sure what you're going to do? And then and then this is how it pulls, the different parts of the transaction together, right? And see everything is verified.
Exactly, absolutely. And actually, maybe, even going, a step further, and with this, wave of agents, user always try to put some guardrails, like do not execute if this condition is not satisfied, and can be what you suggested. You could instruct your agent and say, execute the transaction only if the contract is tagged by Kleros, or even what Jean mentioned, like we have the CDN, interact with this contract on this domain, which could be instead an endpoint if we talk about agent. Interact with this contract on this domain or endpoint only if the pairing is verified via Scout, for example.
And if we want to go one step further, I'm trying to make an investment, into a vault where there is an investment vault that is going to be spread between different protocols. And then maybe the agent could tell me, okay, yeah, this is the right vault. You are sending this to the right place. But are you sure you want to put your money into this? This doesn't look like it fits your usual risk profile. This is like a high risk, like meme coin investment fund. So are you sure? So this is also could be verified by Kleros. So Kleros, users verify or certify this vault as legitimate, but high risk. That could happen also, right?
Yes, that could happen even in an enhanced way, because it's not just maybe in the moment you are doing the investment. What we stay Curate, we are planning to do that in the long run. So because, with vaults, they may be compliant today and they may start using risky asset maybe next week, maybe next month, maybe in 6 months. And with Stay Curate, you make sure that your agent could even notify you, for example, Vault XYZ is not compliant anymore. Do you still want to keep your money there, or you want to withdraw immediately? Or you can even put an automation. You can tell your agent, if this vault is not certified anymore, immediately, instantly withdraw all the funds, and you can instruct your agent like that. So yeah, extremely useful.
Is there anything that Curate cannot do? At this point.
Yeah, I'm biased, but yeah, I would say no. I think anything. We discussed many times in previous calls. We've been from verifying, like wine to real world assets to DeFi to tokens. So really, like anything can be verified. Or the same even with court. We have real cases. We have cases related to Web3 as So I hardly see a limit here.
Cool.
Haven't reached the frontier of Curate yet.
The next challenge for Curate, what's going to be to qualify Italy for the World Cup. That is probably the next, big challenge, difficulty. We don't want to overhype it. We don't want to overhype it. We will do our best. We cannot promise, a good result.
That's a very good one. That's a very good one. That's we have 4 years to work on that. We have to build a solid roadmap for that. Yeah. Only the players that they are like called to play in the national team, they need to be certified under certain standards.
I think there is an angle there, you know. I mean, I think there is an angle. There is always in the football from Argentina lots of suspicion. Oh, yeah, you know, they bought this player because the coach of this team, he's a friend of the manager of that guy, so now they buy their own players. I'm sure Italy, of course, must happen also. You know, maybe a certified list of players, you know, like for the draft or something like that, where there is like a conflict of interest are like discovered and I don't know, challenged through some curation, you know, a tool. We will see. Okay.
We will work on that.
I mean, the use case is there for sure. I can tell you that. Okay. Anything else, Fortunato, for today?
I can give like the main updates related to, in this case, both for Curate and Court. As you saw this Monday, 2 days ago, the KRP 87 passed, so we will have a new curation court with commit and reveal, so with hidden voting. And I think this is a great improvement, both because we will be able to compare the outcomes of the disputes, and also because this was a feature that was quite requested from our user base. I think horizontally from curators, challengers, jurors, that I believe that with hidden voting, even if we see the same outcomes, but I would say user would be more satisfied, because with public voting, I feel they always have a bit of suspect that the jurors just, looked at each other vote. But, the outcome may be the same, but I think this is a cool improvement that our user will appreciate. And another thing that I wanted to mention, which is quite important, we made an update in the backend of Curate and Scout, and we are now using Atlas to upload on IPFS, which is the same system we are already using on V2 beta. And so your experience may be slightly different when signing your transaction. We will share a post today or tomorrow to give you more information. But yeah, we just made this update, and this has been done to have a more reliable IPFS update, and also for us on our hand to debug faster in case you have some problems with your uploads. Sorry. So yeah, these I would say are the main updates from last week.
Awesome.
So I want to share also a little bit like this video that we made about the latest updates. And one of the things is that we are now showing the amount of entries on ATQ, also on the Scout site. And we are now at 2 million. This number.
I reviewed one by one, by the way.
Yes. So one of the things that they will be doing in the comments in the next few days is sharing what are these entries. So they are basically created with scripts that they are mainly about Uniswap pools and other dexes. And I think this is pretty cool. It's like lots of contracts being tagged, and also people that know JavaScript, they can make submissions. They have like a better reward than the traditional entries that are one address per entry. So it's really worth paying attention to. And this is also something that makes us increase the amount of contracts that we can tag really fast.
And Jean, since you mentioned this, then there is one thing I would like to add. Since we have like such a large database, and we already partner with a lot of players in Web3, we do not just have a community member who wants to contribute, but we also have protocols. We also have other auditors who would like to submit their data to be part of Scout. And right now, the bulk submissions are possible only via ATQ, which requires maintaining a subgraph. But soon we are on the final stages of creating a new list where other protocols, other projects can bulk submit their items and be part of Scout, because we actually had these requests from one of our partner, and soon it will be possible for any project to bulk submit their addresses. And another thing, also related about ATQ, this we will maybe share more in the next days. We found out that the ATQ is filtering a type of attack that it's not really known, but it can be quite damaging. In fact, like we discovered it with one of our devs, Francisco, a couple of weeks ago, and the ATQ is actually filtering this kind of attack, but it's not really common, and this triggered us also to protect in general our front ends from this kind of attack, even if the ATQ filtered. Still, it is not really known, but it is something to be aware of.
People are informed now, so we're good.
Yeah, exactly. Really briefly, there are some addresses, contracts, token which are minted just to hack front ends. And this can be really dangerous for some platform that just display maybe contracts and token by default, and they could be hacked. And we already track these and we filter them. So yeah, we will make probably an article, some post about it, so you are aware.
Perfect. Okay, I guess that's it for curation for today. Yeah, thank you, Fortunato. And let's go to, I would say, the topic of the week, maybe. This is a webinar we made on Monday in Spanish when we brought some of the partners we have in the enterprise size, government officials with whom we are working on the digital solution at the municipal level. And so, well, I will leave Marco to explain what this was and tell us, because he was mostly in charge of this. So yeah, Marcos, hello, welcome, and please go ahead.
Hello, how are you doing, guys? Yes, I would say that Kleros Enterprise maybe has like mostly two type of customers. In one's the first side, the typical companies or corporations like Lemon, and on the other side, the government entities. And in this case, in the webinar, we were inviting people related to this second target, that is government entities. And it was a really, really good experience. The Kleros Enterprise sector was behind this, but of course, Shin was helping us a lot with this, with the organization. So thank you very much. Yes, we invited Fernanda from Mendoza, we invited Alejandra from Junín, and Sergio, that is a legal influencer from Argentina, very famous in Twitter and X, was part of the webinar too, and again, it was a 100% success. I enjoyed the whole webinar, but I really liked how Alejandra was explaining how she is using Kleros Enterprise service and how useful it is for her solution. And well, in her case, she's able to give faster resolutions to the final users because of Enterprise. So yeah, I think this is a very good job that we are doing, and hopefully we will start working with this in new government entities.
Yeah. I mean, the goal was to try to show a bit what we are doing with different municipalities and cities, and then try to encourage other cities to start implementing these tools, because this is actually very useful. This and it was told. One thing I really liked is that we had two different perspectives from two different cities where this is implemented now. So Fernanda from Mendoza, she was telling us said something like, for me, the key value proposition here is that these are peers, other neighbors who are resolving the cases. So this is seen as more legitimate by the parties who are involved. This was her position. And then Alejandra from another city called Junín, she was saying, yeah, that's true. But for me, the most important thing, the better help I get is from the speed with which I can resolve the cases with this tool. Because I don't know, she had a very big backlog, and she was clearing it very fast through the tool. And at the end, she was giving a better service better access to justice, rights to citizens. So this was great because they both. I mean, and if we had prepared this, I mean, this is what I would like them to say, but we totally did not prepare that. That happened organically, So this was what you.
It was kind of promoting Kleros services without paying for this, so it was really good. And yes, very happy with the results. Now we're talking with another leads that we were in contact from government. And then about other updates, we are having some talks with other leads not related with government entities, and we have been receiving new cases from Junín. We're working with the anonymization side and everything related to create the new cases. Lucia is helping us a lot with that, and we are going to be creating I think 2 more cases this week. Some new lawyer jurors that are going to be part of our courts. Remember that we had a problem with the jurors ago, but now we are doing better. We're having more lawyers that want to be part of this experience. So a week with a lot of movement.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it will be. The problem was that we didn't have enough cases for the jurors. Now, at least for a time, we had the problem that we had too many cases and jurors were overworked. So we have to go recruiting more jurors, which is, I think it was the first time it happened to us, at least as I remember. So that's a great problem to have,
It was pretty great to see that we basically made 2 calls, like calling for jurors, and then we got a new wave of jurors, and they're already being onboarded, so it's pretty good. And I would like to mention also that this was the first time that we mentioned, like officially talked about the cases from Junín, and we got basically Alejandra talking very detailedly about how it works there. So for the next wave of jurors, we will already have this material and see how it is working. So I think this like the material that we have now with this webinar will be great for social media and for even training the jurors and like having more information about how it works. So I'm really happy with that.
Yeah. Again,
also because people who explain this are those who are working with that. It's not like us telling you, look how they are using it. No, this is the people who are running the consumer protection office from the city. Say, okay, this is how we use it, and this is how it helps us. So like, this is the more convincing. This is the most convincing sales pitch, if you want. I mean, even if it's not a sales pitch, but it's what we want to hear. So I think it's going to be great. And I'm super happy. I mean, that we got to put all of those people together on the same webinar, because sometimes it's not very easy, because of different schedules and that. But it went really, really well. I got really good feedback also, and I'm sure we will get lots of little clips for the socials. It's going to be great. So put Eduardo to do that.
We need to replicate this in the future. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like make an Argentina tour, or South American tour. We go different cities, we go with everyone, and then we go to the city. And when we leave, you have your process in place for resolving your consumer dispute or citizen disputes in your city. And it's like the revolutionary, justice, tour. We will think about that. Okay, so that was very important. And anything else we want to mention about like enterprise things?
No, that's all from my side.
Cool. Yeah, that was a pretty packed, a few days before organizing all that. Yeah, that was great. So good job. Okay, let's go to the next topic. I don't know, Jean. I mean, by the way, I can't tell. I mean, today I gave a talk with I was invited again since already a bunch of years. In France, there is this school for judges called École Nationale de la Magistrature. It's the National School for the Judiciary, I think is the translation, where, I mean, they do this every 6 months. They do this workshop of innovation in the justice system, and then they put like a bunch of judges who are like doing like a technology type of disputes in the room, and then they invite people to tell them a bit about AI and law and of course blockchain. And I mean, they keep inviting us to this, and I was today. I mean, I have to tell you, it's not easy to give a talk, in front of judges in French, But I mean, I guess I'm already going to, and I talked to them. I explained a bit about, the use of Kleros for the consumer stuff we're doing in Junín and Mendoza. I told them a bit about the agents and how agents are going to resolve disputes in the future. I even mentioned a bit of prediction markets. I published this little piece at Wolters Kluwer, which is one of the most influential, maybe the most influential legal publication. They are starting to become interested in these topics, of different types of mechanisms that can help resolve disputes better, faster, cheaper, and arbitration can. And I mean, arbitration now is a bit in a. I wouldn't want to use the word crisis, but it's kind of in a situation where it was invented with the goal of trying to avoid having to go to the judiciary because it was slow, it was expensive. Companies wanted a purely private method that could be flexible for them to have a resolution which was faster and cheaper. But what happened over the years, in the 60 years that followed the New York Convention of the 50s, is that it started to become a lot like traditional, trials with a procedural, very bureaucratic system. And now it's starting to try to reform in different ways. And they are also very interested in exploring new ways of doing things. Technology brings new ways of doing things because of agents, because of Kleros and all that. So, these are the things that we discuss, with the judges today. So, it's been a bit of a very packed day for me in talks.
Did you have any reaction about this idea yet about prediction markets? Any negative reactions, like people saying, no, I don't want this.
I think already I got all of the skeptic reactions with Kleros. So now that they see that Kleros is actually being used, I think that people have a different perception of the ideas I bring them. So okay, but this guy told me about Kleros 8 years ago, and now he's bringing this other thing. Last time we didn't believe him, but he was, I don't know, he was kind of right in a few things. Maybe this time we can believe him a bit more. And that on the one side, that, and then also because I think that people here now are way more exposed to lots of different information flows, social media, and there is a generational change of people. I was telling this to them exactly, people. I was explaining the Lemon use case and the dispute resolution, by Kleros, and I was telling them, look, Lemon is a company that is fintech, like a crypto exchange, and people who use these services are typically more younger, and then younger people, they don't even think of going to small claims court. This is something. My grandfather would think of going to the small claims court. For someone who is younger, who is internet native, court is a bit like Amazon, customer service. That's where you go when you have a problem with your purchase. You don't go to small claims. You don't call a lawyer immediately. That is so. This is kind of. People who are coming now are replacing the previous generations who had different reflexes when they had a problem. And I mentioned this before in the call, in the team call with the team. I think it was Max Planck who said, about scientific change. Scientific change don't happen because people become convinced through arguments of other ideas. They just happens because the old generation dies, and then it's replaced by a new generation that is used to other things and that was trained with other things, and they just consider other things as normal. So this is kind of what Max Planck used to think about scientific change. And I think it's also true about law, because we have been engaging with lawyers and with the regulators for 1 decade now, And you can see that, you have a new generation of regulators. And what happens is that many of them also studied Kleros at school. The university, some people who, not everyone, but if you are like interested in like technology, crypto, AI, and law, there is I would say, a very high likelihood that at some point in your life you will, I guess, see Kleros somewhere. I mean, and these people, they study and then they go and then they take some position of responsibility. It could be in the European Commission, could be SEC, whatever, or in different countries, and they kind of arrive to that position with some ideas about Kleros, and maybe they don't know very well what it does, but they at least they have heard of Kleros. So this is something that, I mean, took us a long time to do. I mean, it's not that you can come and in 2 days that happens. It took a long time, building trust, building partnerships, building a lot of content. A lot of that content eventually went to train, AI agents and AI models. So now models know about Kleros. So, I don't want to continue with this rant. I don't even know what I'm talking about this now. You asked me a question, but yeah, it took a long time.
The reaction, right? Yeah. But one thing that I think it's pretty interesting about what you just mentioned is that Pedro Breuer, who is a follower of Kleros. Yesterday there was this launch, basically an update about what Claude Anthropic is doing about legal work, and they published I think dozens of workflows that could be used by lawyers. And maybe 1 hour later, Pedro already had reviewed that and shared a couple that are relevant to his work on IP. And he's maybe not the youngest wave of lawyers, but he's pretty young. And maybe this will be the standard from now on. And probably there was this lots of things changed during COVID when a lot has started to be doing digitally. Maybe there will be now a new phase where a lot is changed because of AI, and probably Kleros started to make a lot more sense after COVID, and now with AI maybe there will be another force pushing things to change.
Also, I mean, Kleros is also part of a broader digital transformation of law that is happening. It would happen with or without Kleros. So this is something that is just the way societies and industries change. You have the internet, and the internet transformed first, like a digital platform, then media, and then started to transform money through crypto, and then the last kind of waves of transformation is probably going to be like legal and government, which is happening. And it's important that you are kind of in the middle of where the thing is happening. So Harvey, I have been following Harvey for a long time. Claude Legal. This is all part of the same digital transformation movement that is spreading. It has been spreading since the late 1990s to different industries. Our thesis is that this is also going to affect legal, and this is going to affect how we interact, how we transact with people, and everywhere there is a transaction situation, you potentially will have, a dispute situation or a situation that you may want to secure. It could sometimes it's not about dispute. Sometimes it's about the other way around. It's about certification and Kleros. This is why we have put so much effort also in the certification, because if you do a good certification process, then you will avoid lots of disputes. If you do a good certification about what assets you should accept into a vault or into a protocol, then this will reduce the need of having to go to a dispute resolution process because something went wrong. So we are in both areas, let's say. So yeah, there we go. Okay, I think that we have to continue to, I guess it's William's turn, everyone's favorite moment.
Me and him.
Hello, William. How are you? How is
Good.
everything going with the odds for the World Cup in Canada? Are you feeling more optimistic now?
I mean, I have my guarded optimism. I'm excited. It's only a few weeks away.
Cool. Well, go ahead. Tell us about research.
Yeah. So a few things. I guess we finally have our paper we wrote on AI-in-Kleros, when decentralized justice, artificial intelligence, law in the age of crowds and code, has been published.
Tell people.
And, it's been published on the Wolters Kluwer website. It's gonna be part of a book later, but if you are a Wolters Kluwer subscriber, you can already read this.
Yeah, tell people a bit about what the main topics of the article, because so they know.
Yeah, so I mean, generally we look at how different ways that, based on our experience so far and what we anticipate, like decentralized justice platforms like Kleros will interact with AI tools. Like the main way we've used it so far, I would say, is for some of these Kleros enterprise disputes, using it as kind of a pre-preparation tool where evidence gets fed through AI to anonymize things to help prepare evidence. People, like, it can also be sort of used as like a lawyer, like in a sort of sense, where again, in the Kleros enterprise type disputes, where there's this strong asymmetry between companies which have teams of lawyers and the user of the company that's has their complaint that they're like trying to bring to justice in Kleros, who does not have a team of lawyers to help them and doesn't always write as credible looking arguments. They're not all like formatted well, and the AI tool, we've given these people the option to take the argument that they propose and then sort of feed it through an AI to like make it look nicer, and put them on maybe more of a even sit footing with the company's sort of arguments. And then we've thought more hypothetically long term about like what does it look like for AIs to be involved in the juror process, for AIs as jurors. Maybe some jurors are already running AI tools that we don't know, but we did some limited experiments where we gave AIs some previous case data and sort of saw how they ruled compared to other compared to how the human jurors ruled in those cases. We saw that in many ways, like the AI jurors produce very similar results. They agree most of the time, but also like the rate at which they disagree among each other is comparable to the rate at which human beings disagree among each other. That's all very interesting. Like sort of my vision, at least, for how I would want to see AI interact with the Kleros-like system, is that you should design a game which could have human players, AI players, but maybe at some point, like some courts will have mostly AI jurors that are playing the game, the like game theory game that we designed for human beings. But like, there's no vested AI that's making decisions, all the decisions for how a case should be resolved. And so the AIs have to compete with each other in this sort of economic game, which will force them to sort of iterate and improve.
Well, look, this is relevant because of I was explaining today because these judges, the French judges, they went through like a course of different technologies and they learned about AI, and they were like asking me, okay, how do I imagine AI to be? I mean, do you imagine like a completely automated process of dispute resolution like through AI? And I was telling them, that it's not very easy because like AIs, as we have made these experiments that William told just now, different models, depending on how they were trained, could end up with different results. So if you have like one AI making a decision, what AI do you use? Because I mean, if I have a dispute with Jean, I mean, I will want to have the AI I think will be biased in my favor, and Jean will want the AI he thinks is going to be biased in his favor, right? So at the end of the day, I think what the type of things that are like relevant, to have multiple jurors, human jurors in the world of human dispute resolution, are going to be more or less the same arguments that we make for having multiple AIs make a decision. Like you want more diversity, more perspectives on how they were trained. So all of this work we have been doing about soul-bound tokens and what combination of soul-bound tokens you want AIs to people to have, what type of expertise and skills to have. I think it applies to AI. I mean, how can you react to that, William? I mean,
I generally agree. You know, like, yeah, like, I mean, there will be different spellbound tokens that are relevant for AI versus human beings. In some sense, like, it may be easier to like input the sort of spellbound reputation selection, juror selection weighting on AIs than on humans, because like a sort of bottleneck so far for that deploying that vision is that there aren't that many spellbound tokens that are being used in the ecosystem. You know, like there have been research papers where people have like put out this vision. You know, we've experimented with this a bit, but ultimately, like, you sort of want like a notion of the reputation that is important for Kleros, but it's also important for other platforms, so that people have this kind of like broad reputation for how they interact with the entire ecosystem that they don't want to lose. They don't have to like burn and replace with a new wallet that has to develop a new reputation. So like we've had some like ideas about like you can award spellbound tokens with people via like Curate. You know, like I submit myself to the curated list, I get a spellbound token. There's friction there. And there might be less friction if we want the AIs to do this. You know, it might be easier to like bootstrap the spellbound token into the ecosystem.
Yeah, and the question I asked myself, and I mean, the question that doesn't let me sleep in these days, besides the World Cup and Argentina, of course, is mostly regarding what is going to be the behavior of AI in the context of like, are there going to be just economic optimizers as we always expect them to be, or when they make a decision, they will also be optimizing other variables, which I don't know which, but I mean, right now, if you see like on my table of books, I have like most like behavioral economics kind of things, and I'm trying to figure out what of those like insights from behavioral economics, you know, like applied to like bots, basically. I know all of these ideas of like risk aversion, loss aversion, I don't know, emotions, maybe. Reading now, I mean, every time I read one of these things, I always harass William I'm reading Conformity by Sunstein. Sunstein is a very famous author. He's co-author of a book called The Nudge. It's about like what they call democratic liberal paternalism. Depending on how you present options to people, you can influence their choice architecture without like being paternalistic in the sense that you don't tell them what to decide, but you put the stuff in front of them in a way that will make them try to be biased towards like not smoking or like not eating, fat stuff like that. This is kind of the logic. So I'm doing lots of research on that area now, and lots of reading. I mentioned last week, I think, the book by Richard Thaler, Misbehaving, is how behavioral economics started, and now I'm another one. It's called Conformity. It's by this Sunstein, and it's about information cascadings, in the sense that we are going to have at some point jurors with reputation, because soulbound tokens represent some reputation. This reputation can or cannot be accumulated in the future. But what happens when you see like one juror that you have in high esteem voting in a way, and now you know how he voted? I mean, would you want to contradict this person, even if you think that everyone is going to follow him, and how this affects the Schelling-point logics? I don't know. Do we have an answer for this, William? I don't think we have an answer for this so far.
Yeah, no, I mean, sort of to get your initial points, like the behavioral economics of AI tools is like an interesting field that I expect to be explored a lot. That we've thought a little bit about, but that's like I assume like going to be a vast field. I imagine it'll depend a lot on how you train the AI. We've made, obviously, like there's been tremendous progress over the last few years with these sort of LLM style AIs that are like trained on like text people write, and that is one way that you can train an AI. And when you do that, it's not so surprising that they inherit the like biases of the people who wrote the text they're trained on. But I mean, there's also like a longer history of like task specific AI trained AIs. For example, like your chess playing AI, which is trained like natively on chess games in like a different way, like basically if you want like an AI that's really cold and calculating and like Homo economicus, perfectly rational, like I'm sure you can train it for that. It might not be like a similar training process to an LM, but like you can build that if you want to. So we have to expect that to be in the ecosystem somewhere.
That's I mean, I don't have the answer, but we are in an ecosystem where we maybe have people who we know that will help us find the answer, and this gives me the perfect moment to mention that we are going to be in the UK, and actually in a few weeks already, maybe less than a month, we have a bunch of talks and presentations. The first one is going to be at King's College. This is on the 8th. This is with the Department of AI and the Center of AI and King Center. It's called King Center for AI Research, I think, or maybe I'm wrong, but something like that. And then the day after, on the June 9, we are going to be at Oxford in the afternoon. We're going to have like 2 panels, one of them about legal issues and Kleros and the future of arbitration, and the second one about computer science. We are, as you know, supporting 2 DPhil students. This is Oxford, Federico. There's no PhD in Oxford, you should know this. DPhil students at Oxford. One of them is doing law research, the other one is doing computer science research. We are in touch with all of this research community there. And finally, at the University of Edinburgh, I think that's on the 11th, that is going to be mostly, I think it's going to be a combination between law and computer science as well. So yeah, I mean, we don't know the answer, guys, but we are in the right, ecosystem to figure it out, and we will see if AI has emotions, if they want to kill us or not, if they see us as ants, they don't care about us, so they won't go into. But all of these answers might be relevant for Kleros, so we will research them. I guess anything else, William? We want to mention? Oh, tomorrow talk. We have a talk. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, tomorrow. We have a talk. Like online, giving a sort of guest course at Ben Gurion University in Israel. So I don't think that's particularly open to the public, but we'll be talking about computer science students, I think, about like, I mostly talk about some of the social choice research we've done. So for example, the talk I gave at ECC a few weeks ago on clones and like vote splitting, that will feature prominently in my talk tomorrow. I'm gonna, have even more technical content for like a more technical audience. If you followed us, like you've had opportunities to hear about sort of my like social choice theory research, but we'll be sharing that and spreading the word tomorrow at this university, and there'll be other opportunities that will be public for people to hear about this kind of research later.
Yeah, we have to go to bed early because it's like at our 5 a.m. basically because of Israel time.
Yeah, 4 a.m. for me.
4 a.m. for you. Okay, Eastern time. Okay. Thank you, William. And I guess that's it. Jean, anything else we need to mention to the community?
Yes, just one last thing is that we passed the vote for creating a court for curation court in the Gnosis chain with hidden votes. Fortunately, already mentioned that. So if you have stake on the Gnosis chain, or if you want more cases, pay attention to the curation court. It is receiving like the most amount of cases, and pay attention when we created it. This new court probably during this week or next week to change your stake to this new one, because that one will probably receive lots of cases. So yeah, these are the main things for me.
And let's go out with some music, I guess.
Yeah, let me put it.
Okay. Well, I know people come for this, so it's good. See you, Mark. This is a different song, right? Well, we go like more like you see, it's fine. Okay. Well, yeah.
This one.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, thank you for coming. See you next Monday, next Wednesday at the Community Core in English. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.
Bye.